Hi, this is Conra Holman again. I wanted to now talk about how to transform a parent function from an equation. So in my Google Drive folder for my students, you have access to this transforming overview. This is the first page of that document. I put everything together in one place so that you could see my memory devices and so that you could compare and contrast. And so if it's a multiplication, that's going to tell us that we have reflection and stretching and or shrinking. We might not have reflection, but if it's addition, it's going to be shifting. If it's inside, that tells us it's going to be a horizontal transformation, which affects the x values, and there's oftentimes something backwards about that process. Outside is going to be vertical, which is going to be y values, which is going to be straightforward. So for the multiplication parts, I look at the size of the number and I also look at the sign of the number. So when I'm looking at the size of the number, I'm ignoring the sign. When I use absolute value, that's what the absolute value does. The absolute value ignores the negative signs if they're there. So once I have applied the absolute value, I compare it to 1, and if it's bigger, it's stretch, and if it's smaller, it's a shrink. So I told you that it's straightforward. If it's outside, big means stretch, small means shrink. The sign, if it's a negative number, then I'm going to try to remember that it is going to be a vertical reflection. As a consequence of it being a vertical reflection, I now know that it's going to be across the x-axis. And we're going to multiply the y values by a if we need to take points and manipulate them. I said that inside is backwards. So multiplication, we still deal with size and sign. It's still going to be reflection, stretching, shrinking. But in this case, big is going to mean shrink and small is going to mean stretch. Sign still means reflection. So inside meant it was a horizontal, and so a negative inside there means it's going to be a horizontal reflection, which then will be across the y-axis. If I want to do point-wise analysis, I'm going to multiply each of the x values by its reciprocal, which means I'm dividing by b. Dividing by b is the same as multiplying by 1 over b. H, so H has the opposite sign from what's inside there. I pull the H away from the minus sign. Once I've done that, positive means right, negative means left, and I add that to the x values of the points. And for K is outside, so it's going to be vertical, and it's addition, so it's going to be shifting. So positive means up, negative means down, and I'm adding that number to the y value.